Your brother's the one that you're running from, but if you got money, fuck it, 'cause I want some.
Hey, bud. Hi. You got to go away now.
Charlie, go to your place. Charlie.
That was
go to
just,
your place.
If you can hear in the background,
Go to your place.
that's Rosebud Baker, my guest on today's show.
That's my intro?
Yeah. This is a
Charlie, go to your place.
That's her scolding her very nice dog. He's a nice dog probably because he's abused by Rosebud. No, I have the hilarious, meteoric new comic on the scene, dater of Nubian kings, Rosebud Baker. Thanks for being on. This is Be Best. That's the name of this podcast.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
I love the title.
Yeah, it's based off of Melania Trump's educational.
Be Best.
Yeah, Be Best.
Right.
And I thought, why not?
I love it. It's topical. It's funny.
I'm a patriot.
Yeah.
Why is...
Oh my God, you do have a tremor. It's so bad.
My hand?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really bad. I'm actually, with the balding and the tremor, it's starting to be kind of grim. Everything else is fine. Body's fine, even though, I have, horrible joints from skiing.
Yeah.
But, the tremor mixed with the, I think a woman of our age sees that, and something biological in her says that they go, he can't protect. He can't protect me. The clan.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, a woman of our age is also looking at that and going, all right, but he's available. He's not going to hit me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he still has some hair left.
Because it's a tremor.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a hard hit. Nobody's got a solid left.
Yeah, even if he does, it's going to feel like a Tempur-Pedic.
It probably would be the level of hit that you would want in a sexual situation.
Right. Right.
Cut that out.
Charlie, stop licking your dick in front of the guests.
Hey, buddy, if I could do it, I would. So, Rosebud, thanks for being on this so last minute.
Yeah.
This is new to me, so
thanks
I'm not
for coming to my house.
Yeah, I've wanted to.
I feel like
I've
if
always
more
wanted to be
podcasts
invited over.
Came to your home, then you would do them more. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I love doing podcasts. I just don't like leaving my house.
I'm going to do a version of Guys We Fucked, but it's women we just fucked. And I'm going to just pull out the podcasting equipment right after we're done with sex. I'll be I'll go, did you? And they'll go, kind of, a little one. And then I'll go, do you want to...
Today's guest, everybody.
Yeah. Do you want a podcast?
Just have the mic going when you ask, did you?
Did you?
That's how it starts every episode.
That's what it'll be called. Did you? I love that. I've done that a bunch. Did you? I've asked that question. And every time a woman's came for the most part, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
It's did you? No, you would have known.
Yeah.
There would have been trembling.
You would have absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure known.
Hate a quiet comer.
I feel like you can tell too, because can't you feel it if a woman comes?
Sometimes. I feel like you can feel it more if your face is down there.
Oh.
Face and hands.
Oh, okay. Face and hands.
Yeah.
You got all of them in there.
I
you
do
got the full face and both hands.
Upside down owl thing.
You're essentially trying to climb back in.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, I took some classes in Santa Monica, and they haven't helped at all.
You're like Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
When he's trying to get back into his apartment.
I'm stuck. You just see legs hanging
All your
out.
friends are trying to push you in.
Oh, man. That's did you see Midsommar?
No.
I
wanted to, though. I'm a huge horror flick fan.
It's really good. I mean, it's it does exactly... It's funny, first of all.
Yeah.
And it also does exactly what it's supposed to do, which is make you extremely uncomfortable. There's not a lot of jump out moments, but there are some moments that are revealed where you're like, okay, fuck.
Right.
But the weird thing about it is, and what probably makes you so uncomfortable, is that it's all daylight. Because they're up by the Arctic Circle and it's summer.
Oh, right.
So it's like, it's never nighttime.
Right. That would fuck with me.
Yeah, I went to Alaska one time for like a couple weeks after my senior graduation. And it was like a real gnarly scene up there. I was like hundreds of miles away from civilization in a small town that you had to like fly into.
Right.
But it was weird because you'd like be drinking at like 4 a.m. and it would be just like what 7 p.m. is here.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, we should probably go to bed. And then you'd try to go to sleep, it would be daylight.
Yeah, but I also feel like just even if you were sober, being in all daylight would fuck with you. Because, I don't know.
I wasn't sober at this point.
Right.
I was very fucked up. I actually almost got, this is the only time that this has ever happened. I almost got like, I guess raped. I guess like that's
Are
what you
you
would
just
call it?
realizing this?
Well, no, it's just like
Your
I've
face
never
just said.
I've never enunciated it. This guy that we were like partying with.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry to burp during your rape story.
No, it's okay. It wasn't that dramatic because I easily got out of it. But this guy that like ran the bar was like kind of creepy, but like in a fine way. For Alaska, you're like, yeah, sure, you're creepy.
What do you mean for Alaska?
Because Alaska's like a creepy place. Most of the people that go to Alaska are like trying to leave something behind.
Oh, I see.
Or-
it's like expatriate country.
Yeah, you know, you meet people abroad and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, you live down here for a reason.
Right. I feel like that whenever like I meet people who have lived in Hawaii.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing about like, if you go someplace that's like a tourist destination, like a vacation spot, most of the people that are like residing there have a very dark backstory.
Right.
But he just like, I remember this one night, I was like coming back from a party up on the glacier and I was like coming through town. I was like on a motorcycle maybe. I was really fucked up. I shouldn't have been riding a motorcycle.
Right.
But he came out and he was like, you guys want to keep drinking? And I was like plastered, but I was like, sure, I'll come in. He's like started pouring shots.
Right.
And then it was like, he was like, you guys come back to my place. Like, and I think he would have tried to fuck us if we would have gone back to his place. That's what I mean by raped. I don't know what would have happened.
Right.
He probably has fucking bodies in his... He's probably a fucking known serial killer now.
Yeah, he probably eats faces.
Oh, God, eat my face. I don't know how to text a girl. Fucking come over and eat my face.
You just have to text people with like bath salts level rage.
Yeah. I love... And I do it to too many of my lady friends that are friends, but I love the, do you want to play carnival? And then they say, what? And then I say, you sit on my face and I guess your weight. But in the Me Too...
Do you really say that?
To friends, not
That's
to...
so fucking funny.
Not to a woman I would be legitimately trying to do that with.
But you could have done that, like, even 6 years ago, you could have done that.
I still have... I mean, I have people in my life where... it's very easily could tip the scale if we just found the right, you have those people, I'm sure, where you're like, we're really good friends, but if like we were lonely enough on a road gig.
God, that's so sad and real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get to you because I'm just talking about myself.
Well, I was just thinking about this, how like in comedy, if you sleep with somebody, you have to see that person for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that is true. I didn't think about that. That's one thing that's very, because like there's definitely like, I always like when people are like, oh, you shouldn't sleep with other comics. I'm like, well, that's dumb. You wouldn't tell like a doctor not to fuck a doctor.
Right.
But they don't always work at the same hospital.
Right.
And we almost always are around the same hospitals.
Yeah. There's only so many gigs that we're going to see each other. There's like, depending on the city, there's 3 to 6 places we're going to see each other. That's it. And then
the best, have you ever had this happen where you go on a road gig, you don't know somebody's going to be at the other club in town?
Yeah.
And then they're there.
Right,
oh,
yeah.
Man, what a wonderful thing. You both have hotel rooms, you're adults, mom can't say anything.
No, it's fantastic. It's a great time. And I'm just now single in comedy for the first time.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about that. Because
wow.
You are, I never actually met you more than I maybe like got introduced like a hello or something like that.
Yeah.
But I never really met you. And your ex-boyfriend is like an old friend of mine.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to know you until after you guys broke up. And I feel like we're fast friends.
Yeah.
Like we have similar stories.
Yeah.
We're both white and powerful and come from money and just highly intelligent, very attractive.
Illuminati blood.
Yet still have hood passes, which is cool.
And somehow you got one even with a tremor. So
yeah, I think it's.
I don't know what a hood pass is really.
It means.
I don't think I have that.
I'm kidding, but you do have it because you fuck black guys.
I don't think that.
I think that counts.
All the black guys that I fucked like Naruto. So
okay. Things are different.
It's different.
You're not fucking any Debos.
No.
No. Okay. Black nerds.
Black
blurs.
nerds, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
For the most part.
Because I wanted to get to that later. I guess let's just go into it. Where are you from?
I'm from D.C.
You're from D.C.?
Yeah.
The city?
I was born in D.C.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you grew up in the suburbs?
I grew up in Alexandria, Virginia, and then moved to McLean.
Hill brat.
What's
Capitol Hill?
No, not really. I mean, my dad's a lawyer.
Okay.
And my dad worked at a law firm. I mean, without giving out too much personal info, like he worked at a law firm in D.C. And then, not really. Like, I'm not really a hill brat, but we were around the White House. Like, I spent Easters at the White House because of my granddad. And then, just
Conservatives?
Conservatives, yeah.
So, were you? Because I kind of felt like you were from someplace more, like Midwest. I don't know. I got a vibe for some reason. I thought you'd be from someplace more like
I think it's just how I look.
Nashville or something.
You know?
Maybe. You also
my family's all from Texas.
You kind of have like a matter of factness to you that you don't find a lot with like, white women from cities.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but you're also not like, a bar back. I was making fun
I do
of...
laugh like one, though.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You could play a bar back.
But that's just from being a fat kid.
Were you a fat kid?
Yeah.
I was a fat kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Like legit fat?
I was, like chubby. Like
people always ask that. They're like, how fat were you?
I was never like childhood obesity fat, but I
Right.
was definitely fat for a couple years. And I think I talked about this. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast yet. No, I talked about this with Kirsten.
Yeah.
For some reason, when I was like 12 years old and the peak of my fatness,
Yeah.
the hardest time of your life, 7th grade is the
Same.
worst
Yeah.
period of your life. So depressed, so insecure. My body, as it started to go through puberty, I'm not fucking with you right now. It started to grow little boobs. I don't know how to talk about this on stage yet, but it's a thing that happens with boys where their body is trying to like adjust
Oh my God.
hormones. And for like a straight up 6 months, I had like little, like firm, tiny boobs. Like there was a boob inside of my already
Well,
fat
let me ask
kid
you this:
boobs.
Would you jerk off to your own tits?
No, they weren't hot. I would love to have a nice rack.
It's so funny. What if if the tables were turned and I, for some reason, in 7th grade, just started growing a tiny dick before whatever, which I did. I grew a tiny dick and then I absorbed it, and
Did
now
you?
I have a vagina. No, but like
I could see it happening.
What if if that happened? It would be a fucking nightmare. You
was
must have looked in the mirror and been like, I hate this.
It was so embarrassing. And also that year, for some reason, I did swim team. It was just me in a Speedo, just like fat with tiny boobs. Oh, God. People are like, why can't you make eye contact? It's like, let me sit you down
Like
for a
my
minute.
Nipples are staring you in the eyes.
Yeah. No, I mean now. I can't because of then. I can't now. So going back to DC, were you... Because you're sober now, so this means there's nobody that got sober that just had like a chill adolescence. Were you always kind of rebelling against like the home?
You know what? Like I wasn't I don't know. Not really. I didn't really start rebelling. Actually, no, I did in high school. Middle school, I didn't. Middle school, I was really trying for a long time to be good.
Were you fat?
No, I started getting thin right before middle school, just in time.
Side note, my thinness is... I got thinner when I quit drinking, but my true thinness came between sophomore and junior year. I grew 8 inches in 2 months, and it was amazing.
Yeah, you're just like, thank God.
5'4" to 6'2".
Right.
Wait, 5'6" to... I'm 6'2" now.
Yeah,
so
5'4" to 6'2" is... you should see a doctor.
Well,
if
I
you
mean,
grow that much.
I did grow 5'6" to 6'2".
Yeah, that's a lot.
In one summer, and my bones hurt. Going back to you... Sorry, I just always wanted... I love telling that story for some reason. It's so boring. I have so many anecdotes that I'm like, this is going to kill.
You're like, nobody cares but you.
Well,
why do you like that one so much?
I don't... Because it's interesting to me that, like, somebody could grow that much in one summer. But it's not really that interesting. It's just like, to me, it's like, I can't believe it happened.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if... That's the weird thing about being a kid is like you are growing. Like once you stop growing, I think you really take that for granted.
Yeah.
Like imagine if we grew our entire lives.
No, I was thinking that the other night.
Like
I was
elderly people were
going
giants.
to sleep and I was folding my shirt and I was like, I could wear this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is as big as I'm going to get.
Yeah.
And I was looking at my shirt and I was like, I didn't grow very big. Like, I was like, I grew my whole life just to get this big. Like, I was like...
But, I mean, considering that you were the size of, like, a loaf of bread.
Yeah, that's true.
I held a 3-week-old baby the other day, and it's so weird to be around, like, something where you're like, dude, someday you're going to be so fucked up.
Yeah, I know.
You're about to go through some shit.
I know.
So high school, start to rebel. Did you go to college?
I did. I went to Emerson College.
In Boston.
In Boston. And before I went to Emerson, in the same year, my parents separated. My sister passed away. And then my dad came to the funeral with his new girlfriend. That was the first time that I found out he had a girlfriend.
How did sister pass?
She drowned
Jesus.
at a graduation party for my friend and for our graduation.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Right before I left for college, I was like, my whole life just went, like blew the fuck up. So, and my parents had gotten separated like a year before.
What?
So the divorce wasn't even finalized.
Was that... Because my parents got divorced when I was 5. I've never known what it would be like to have.
Yeah.
Was that a big shift? Like, did it surprise you?
I have like an incredible ability to like compartmentalize that I've always had. Like, if my feelings don't make logical sense, I like don't let myself feel them in some way. Mm-hmm. Like I'll be like, well, this doesn't make any sense, so I'm not gonna react to it.
God, I wish I could do that. That sounds so fucking wonderful.
You kind of wish you could do that, but then I'm like, it's like it's like folding a hose in half, and then something happens that doesn't make any sense, and I fucking blow up.
You feel it all.
Like, it's like my body is a fucking beehive, and I just blow the fuck up.
And there's bees everywhere.
There's bees everywhere. It's just a swarm of bees.
just you miss a train, you step in a puddle, bees everywhere.
It's a bee explosion.
Oh,
and
man.
all of a sudden everyone's like, this bee woman is just
I feel like you wear a lot of yellow too, so that's apropos.
You wish that it was that, but the benefit of somebody like not really having a lot of emotional control is that once they feel their feelings, they're done. Mm-hmm. Like, you feel it and then it's over, right? But like, when I like, it takes me a while to like build up to a point, and then I'll just fucking go off and I'll say shit that I can't take back because it's true.
Yeah, yeah.
And then even when I try to apologize, it's like, hey, I'm really sorry to have said that. I can't be like, I didn't mean it.
Yeah.
Because I absolutely did. So I'll be like, I had no right to say that. But I have to like work around the shit that.
Oh man, I would love to have some kind of compartmentalization because I am beholden to my feelings. Like if I feel something, I have a very hard time hiding it.
Yeah.
Although I feel like people don't necessarily know, but I'm feeling it for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My face tells a lot. If I'm looking at someone, I have like facial autism.
My face, a lot of times I'll be like thinking something about somebody and I'll be like, they don't know that I hate them. And I'm just like.
And they do.
Yeah, they definitely know I hate them. So how did, because it's like the parent stuff, that's one thing. But the sister passing away, I'm guessing you were close.
She was 10 years younger than me.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Was alcohol involved?
No.
Just like at a party, freak
Like she
thing?
was, no, it was actually like, so you know hot tubs, like they used to have these drains at the bottom. You know how hot tubs have those signs that are like, if you're 16 or under, don't get in the hot tub? So you don't really see those signs so much anymore because since she passed away, a law was passed in her name that like you have to put a drain or you have to put a cover over these drains.
It's the one that has the little like lip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the drains didn't used to have covers on them. And the thing about it is that the power of these drains is that they're powerful enough to literally, if you sat on it, it could suck your intestines out of your body. Like, it's so powerful that it's like that crazy. And her hair got stuck in the drain and she drowned by entrapment. So,
oh my fucking God.
Yeah, it was like a nightmare.
And people were trying to
pull her out and she was surrounded by people. It wasn't like, something where nobody would know about this because the pool companies paid every family that had been affected by it off. Like they would settle over and over and over again and just make these massive payouts every year to like keep these families quiet so that they wouldn't have to advertise the fact that these are like life-threatening.
I'm just trying to lighten it, but there is something kind of funny about like big pool trying to get in there. And like,
I know.
Like nobody thinks about pool companies as like
big
bad.
Pool.
It is like big pool came in and like bought off of your family.
Right.
Like there's an Aaron Brockovich of pools. You're the Aaron Brockovich of pools.
My mom was. My mom literally became the Aaron Brockovich of pools. And like, so after my sister died, my mom, obviously my family's like politically very connected.
Yeah.
And my mom was able to pass a law. This was when George Bush W was in office.
Yeah.
And so it got passed. And now, it doesn't happen. You're not going to die from being in one of those pools because they can't, or those jacuzzis or whatever, because they have to have this cover on it. So that was
Chuck
like
Palahniuk wrote a short story about a kid who.
Really?
Yeah, it's in a book that came out around 2004.
Really?
It's a book of short stories, and one of them is a kid gets his intestines sucked out by a pool drain.
That's exactly what happened to one of these families.
Yeah. I think he probably read about that.
Right. And that's like 2 years after my sister died.
Fucking fuck. I mean, that's so gnarly. I remember I went to this, I was like staying in this hotel one time and there was a convention for people who lost children. Mm-hmm. Like, it sounds like the worst convention ever.
Yeah, it's really a fucking bummer of a party.
But I was like a little piece of shit liar kid.
Yeah.
And I remember like being on the elevator with some of these people and I was like, oh, what are you doing here? And they were like, oh, we're here for this convention. And I was like, what's the convention? And they told me and I was like, oh, that's so tragic. My little sister actually, she also passed away. And they were like, oh my God, how? And I was like, we were like in an elevator and it got trapped like between floors and she tried to climb out and it cut her in half. And they were like, no, like immediately like they didn't say anything, but they were like, oh, you're lying.
You're a fucked up person.
I was like 13 years old.
So funny.
I deserve to go to hell.
That is no, Andy, that's so fucking funny.
That's how I was as a kid, though.
I mean, obviously you couldn't read a room yet, but like that's still so fucking funny.
I used to lie so much, not like about actual
I still
important
lie about
things.
stupid shit.
I'll lie about. Sometimes I'll catch myself telling a story that I know did not happen.
Yeah,
Just
same.
to like talk to somebody who I don't want to talk to.
Yeah, just to get through the conversation.
So
Just
how
to
did
dazzle them.
how did the sister's death, like, how did that metabolize in you? Like, did you go inward? Did you start using? Did you have a lot of unprotected sex?
No, I basically fully went ballistic, but like in a very slow burn kind of a way. Mm-hmm. So first I started like I went to college,
Mm-hmm.
and I got super into working in college. Like I was like, I'm just gonna throw myself into what I came here to study.
Working at college or getting a job?
No, like doing well in school.
Studying,
yeah, but not studying because I was an acting degree. So I was like I was really into my classes. I was like reading more than I needed to. I was just doing everything because I like creatively, I do tend to like use work in a way that I can avoid my feelings by just like working.
Totally.
And I can totally get lost in that. And I did that for like 3 years. And then I started, then I quit smoking pot. And when I quit smoking pot, I started drinking. And because I'd been avoiding drinking because my mom was sober. And I was like, and I just kind of knew I was an alcoholic because like I used to hide food under my bed when I was a kid. And I would be out with my friends just thinking about the food that was under my bed.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like that was all I thought about while I was out, like living my life, was just like getting back to my room, digging under my bed and like eating Fluffernutter by myself.
I definitely will still do that with like a fresh Jewel pod.
Yeah.
Like I'll be out and I'll be like out of a Jewel and I'll be like, oh, I could just be at home sitting on the couch.
Dude, when my Jewel
watching.
dies, I'm like, I guess it's time to go home.
Yeah.
I don't even hide it. I'll turn to my friend and be like, well, my Jewel's dead, so I'm going back.
I bring 2 out.
I try to as well.
Pretty
But
bad.
anyway, so I started drinking, and then once I started drinking, I was like, oh shit, this is amazing. Mm-hmm. And started like, I had a boyfriend in college. I started like cheating on him just nonstop. I like could not stop cheating on him.
Did he know?
Yeah, because I was an idiot, and I would be like, the right thing to do is tell him, and I would just tell him every time. And finally, he was like, I mean, this guy obviously didn't have very high self-esteem, but he was like, listen, if you do this again, like we got to break up. Like you can't keep cheating on me and then fucking telling me about it. So obviously, it was like we went like 3 weeks, and I did it again. And I was like, well, I guess I can't tell him anymore. So I broke up with him. And that was the first time. So I broke up with him. And then the night I broke up with him, I remember going to the house of the dude that I cheated on him with. Oh, no. I went to another dude's house. Fucked that guy. And then went to this party at my ex's place. And he was like hooking up with some girl when I showed up at the party. And my friends to this day called me Ninja Tornado because I went into a rage blackout.
Yes.
And that was the first time that I realized, my drinking might be becoming a problem. Because I don't recollect a lot from that night, but I remember chasing my ex down a fire escape, jumping off the end of it, landing face first on the pavement in the snow, and then continuing to run after him.
And you're the one that cheated.
And I was the one that cheated.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, fully like just the most narcissistic, insane behavior. And I remember running into my friend, asking him where my ex went, him saying, I don't know, and genuinely not knowing, and then punching him in the face.
Yes.
Like, it was like, and I woke up the next day and I was like, I lost all my friends in one night.
I can completely relate. That was that was pretty much my entire drinking career. It was
For
like
sure.
after high school. It just in high school I'd fucked up a few times, but it was enough. It was okay enough at that point where we were still like reeling off of like movies about high school where it was like funny that somebody did something outrageous.
Yeah.
And mostly it was me getting my ass kicked.
Right.
There was a lot of like just me like walking up to like a thug, like literally like a dude whose life was crime, and me being like, "What's up, homie?" And then him just punching me in the face.
But see, that's not. At least you were trying to make friends.
I don't know if I was trying to make friends. I was probably,
or you were just making fun of him.
I have no idea. I mean, it was like a total blackout. I would black out and not remember tons of shit.
Yeah.
I'd have little flashes.
Yeah. It's so bad. Like when I remember fully being outside of my body and watching that moment where I hit the pavement and threw my face up and there was probably blood on my face and just being like, I gotta keep running after this guy. Like, what?
And I would also see it coming. Like I'd be knowing it was getting bad, but just all logic turned off, and I would just be like, well, I guess that's what tonight's about, you know? And I remember this one time, it was my first day of college. I'd gone to junior college in Lake Tahoe for 2 years because I was trying to be a professional skier. And
of course you were.
It was me, I mean, look at me. And then my first day of college at Western Washington University, I went to a party, and I went to shotgun a beer, and I stabbed the knife through the beer can into my hand. Like it was just like knife through can stuck into hand. And I was just like, well, I couldn't possibly stop partying right now because
right. You're like, I'm not going to go to the hospital.
Yeah, there's a party right now.
The night just started.
Yeah. And the next day they were like, you should have been in the hospital within a half an hour of this. Like, we can't do anything.
Right.
So how long after that until you actually made the cut?
I think it was probably 2 years. No, it was 2 years. It was 2 years.
2 more years.
Yeah.
Did you start to do that thing where you knew you had a drinking problem, so you'd kind of try to like regulate it?
I mean, at that point, I was so out of my mind, you know, because it's so sneaky. Like, I didn't know that I had a drinking problem because I was just in denial about it. Like, I guess if I had searched the crevices of my mind, if I had ever stopped for a second to even ask myself the question, then I probably would have known.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I was capable of doing that. There's something that turned off, like the ability to be aware of myself. That was gone. So I was just living in denial, and that was like what I lived in. And I would fight people. I was a really violent drunk. I would fight people. I would threaten suicide. I would black out, try to run off the edge of my roof, come out of a blackout, be like, oh shit, is someone pushing me? And it was like me trying to jump. And like, there was a lot of that stuff where, you know, and I remember yelling at people because they were mad at me for acting like a lunatic and yelling at them that this wasn't me. I remember yelling at my friends for getting mad at me because they weren't really getting mad at me, because I'm a good person and I'm just acting out in a way that I can't explain, but it's not me. Like, it was crazy. I was Bride of Chucky, you know?
Yeah.
And then one day I think I just, like, I went out, I'd moved to New York. I had lived with this guy.
Did you finish college?
I finished college, yeah. I finished college, and then I was supposed to go on this trip across Europe that my sister had organized. And I was such a mess that my sister was like, fuck this. Like, I'm not going to be here with you anymore. And I was like, well, fine. If you're not going to be here, I'm going to finish out this trip by myself. And my sister, who's a nurse, is like a huge enabler. And she, you know, God bless her, she fucking sent me money for the rest of the trip. Like, she was like, I'm not I'm not standing for this. But then she would send me money.
Yeah.
Like every month. And
So you were just in Europe. This is after college.
Yeah.
You're still drinking.
I'm still drinking a lot. I
You're
don't
still
remember
a
where I
big
went, really.
Jizz basket, just sleeping with just
No, I didn't fuck
Frenchmen.
anybody. I didn't
Really?
fuck anybody. No, I was just drinking nonstop. And at least I can't remember if I fucked anybody. But
Wow, so you were that drunk. Like,
Yeah.
you don't remember parts of Europe.
Oh, I don't remember any of Europe. I
God.
remember like
That is awesome.
I remember like being on a go-kart in Berlin and then taking that go-kart out to the country and then not being able to find Berlin. So like stopping
yourself?
like stopping at people's houses with a go-kart and being like, how do I find Berlin?
Oh my God.
And then like eventually, I don't even know if I fucking returned that thing. There were so many times the cops were called because I couldn't pay for a hotel. And then I would have to go to a Western Union with the cops to get money from my sister. And finally, my family was like, look, you got to get back here.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, just wire me some money so I can buy a plane ticket back.
Are parents kind of loaded? Your parents?
My dad is. My mom is a painter.
Okay, but so you do come from like a little bit of a like
Yeah.
privileged background.
Yeah.
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 I do too. There's
sure.
no judgment in that.
No.
I'm
I
just
don't. I
asking.
don't hide it at all. Like
Yeah.
I for sure do.
Uh-huh.
And I'm the only kid in my family that went to public school, and that's like a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I was like a really nice public school where people like got cars for their birthdays. You know.
I went to that kind of public school,
Yeah.
but it was in the hood.
Yeah. So essentially, they made me come back to. I was in Europe. They were like, come back to fucking the States. And I was like, cool, send
You're
me money.
24, 25?
I was 22 at the time.
Oh, wow. So just right out of college.
Yeah.
Shit.
And they were like, and so I bought a plane ticket, but I was dating this dude. I remember I was dating the best friend of that guy that I cheated on. I was dating his best friend because I
Okay.
was so mad at him for making out with a woman after I'd broken up with him.
And also had sex with somebody
And
else.
also had sex with somebody that night.
Oh, this is
So
great.
I fucked his best friend and then proceeded to date his best friend for like 2 years.
Wow.
And basically
Were you under the illusion at all during that time that was somehow a significant relationship?
yes, it was a significant relationship
was.
for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
And
You didn't cheat on him?
no.
Oh, wow.
I never cheated on him, but he was also my nurse. Like
Oh, like you mean like an enabler or like...
like fully my nurse. Like basically when I told my parents that I was going to fly back to DC to go to rehab, I got a flight that stopped at JFK and I brought all my luggage on board. So when I got off at JFK, I took a taxi to his apartment and was like, "Hey, I need to live here." And moved in with him and his metal band and
Wow.
lived with them across the Pulaski Bridge from the creek in the cave. We used to buy weed from Rebecca Trent.
Yeah.
And
I lived over there. I lived on Clay Street.
oh, really? I lived on India.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was like, yeah, right by the shit factory where
Yeah.
like it would rain and you would just smell everyone's asshole.
Yeah, that's like a super fun site.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like full of just nickel or something that
Yeah.
makes like your babies like have small arms.
Yeah. Like I drank so much of that water and I'm still like, I drank Chernobyl water for like 2 years.
You're barren, but you know, that's
For
fine.
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Were you doing other drugs? Were you doing some nose candy ever or
I would like crush up Adderall and snort Adderall.
but not like coke or
No, I never did coke. For some
Still.
reason, I thought that. Well, I know for a fact that if I did coke, it would be. I was already like so angry.
Yeah, that's I feel like it's a miracle that I didn't find coke until I was 30
Yeah.
and I did it once and I'd already quit drinking. I was only smoking weed. And
That is so much more insane to
yeah,
do coke
of
without
course.
drinking.
But I went with a bunch of TV writers to Las Vegas. We all put on suits. We got like literally a hotel room like 3 times the size of this apartment. And it was just like it was like, this is how you do cocaine for the first time. And it was a fine experience. But if I would have found cocaine at like age 15, there's no way I would not be dead.
Yeah.
Not a chance in hell.
Yeah.
If I would have added fuel to that fire, because I was so ready. Like the second a fight started, the second anything was kind of bad, I was like, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
I remember I had some friends that were like real fucking pieces of shit, criminals, you know, like drug dealers, thieves, all these graffiti artists and skateboarders. And I remember this one time we went to this kid's party and I was friends with the kid, but I was also friends with the bad kids. And they just started stealing everything from the house.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so funny. And my friend was like, what the fuck? And I was like,
you're like, I don't know.
I'm not stealing. Can we be cool?
Yeah.
So you survived that. You go to rehab?
No, I never went to rehab. I
just
literally
went to Greenpoint.
I went to Greenpoint and I moved in with this guy and he called my parents and he was like, I'll take care of her and I'll make sure she goes to group therapy. And I went to group therapy for eating disorders. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, it's that I have an eating disorder. That's
Kept
the
drinking?
problem. Yeah.
Great.
I was like, I never said anything about my fucking drinking in group therapy, not once. And then
Did you have an eating disorder?
Yeah, like I would not eat all day.
Yeah.
And then I would drink.
Ooh.
And I would be like on this, like my body would be on this like fake adrenaline because it always thought it was dying because I wouldn't eat.
Like ketosis level.
Yeah.
Euphoria.
Like, yeah, just like this kind of like, you know, where like you're losing your hair.
Yeah.
And you're just like fucking, like just like I was crazy. I was fucking insane. Like
you like became somebody from Florida.
Yeah.
Like, that's how dark it got.
Dude, I was cutting my hair with knives.
Oh my God.
It was insane, dude. It was crazy. I kept adopting animals. I tried stealing a cat from a bodega.
It's so funny too because you don't present that way at all.
No, I mean it's
Like,
been 11 years since I drank.
No, but I mean like it's amazing in that like, you know, I'm not like doing hot. Like I'm not great. And there was times in my life when I was doing, and the only thing I'm not doing great with is like I don't have my own apartment. I think that's the only thing I really could say.
Yeah, I'm like, is that even true that you're not doing great?
No, I am doing great, but in my mind, I'm still that person. Like a lot of me has to like go like, Andy, you're not like the kid at the party who like peed in the sink and then like smashed a beer bottle over your head. Like, nobody knows that about you. So stop walking around like that.
Yeah.
Because I carried, that was like, it was traumatic. I would like wake up and I would go to school. This is in college. And I'd be like walking across the quad and I'd still be drunk from the night before. And somebody would like come up to me and they'd be like, dude, you're a fucking psycho. And I'd be like, what? Because I'm not like, I like to go crazy.
Yeah.
Like I love it. And that's
but I don't
why
want
did
people
drugs.
to call me out on it.
But it's not me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I've been arrested 6 times. Nobody meeting me would be like, that's a person who's gone to jail 6 times.
Yeah.
They'd be like, oh, that guy probably like gives money to NPR.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That guy gets excited.
That's so true.
When there's a new LL Bean catalog.
I know.
Like,
yeah. Like I look like somebody who has a craft group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you were crushing up Adderall and cutting your hair with knives.
Yeah. And picking at my skin until I had like, I remember like
divots.
Yeah.
I still do that. I'm just an anxious person.
Yeah, I still get like super angry. Like I was like walking yesterday, somebody fucking said some shit to me on social media. I literally went, I get high from being angry.
Dude, yeah.
It feels amazing. My body feels amazing when I'm angry. Like I thought, I saw a car coming at me and I was like, I could rip the hood off that moving car. And I believed it for a second.
I want to fight people.
Yeah.
Like it's like every day there is something deep down inside of me. I don't really want to fight, but I like today during soccer, this guy said some shit to me and literally in my head, I was going to turn around and I was going to say, what the fuck did you say? F word? Like the homophobic F word. I was going to it was like tip of my tongue. And then I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like,
No,
why?
Stop.
Why?
This is
a soccer
co-ed
game.
rec soccer. You're gonna fight this finance kid. But I wanted it to turn on immediately. I want to be covered in blood and just like screaming in somebody's face.
Dude, if I'm missing a tooth and there's blood on my face, I feel like that's me living my best life.
Like that I know. I mean, 100%. Like I think you can also relate to this with exercise. It's like the same thing with exercise for me. Like I don't want to like break a sweat. I want to be annihilated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I
want to barf.
I want to be depleted. And it's the same thing with this urge to kind of explode where like, what's that scene? I think is it Edward Norton? Who's the one that like,
Fight Club?
It's in Fight Club. It's where Brad Pitt gets the shit beat out of him by the gangster.
Oh my
God. Then he bleeds all over his face.
Yeah.
I love that scene so much because that is like my inner thing. Like, just destroy me and I'm going to love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that is connected in a weird way spiritually to the idea that you can't grow without being destroyed. Mm-hmm. And I think people who get sober know that. So there's a part of us that wants to regenerate all the time.
Yeah.
Because that's a high.
Yeah.
To like get a chance to fucking just be annihilated and then build yourself up from nothing. Mm-hmm. There's a spiritual element to that, which is like
100%.
You know, I was rewatching Fight Club like I think it was right after my breakup, and I had 2 pets that had died, and then I broke up with my ex, and I was like getting ready to move, and I was like, I just want to throw everything I fucking own out of this apartment and just fucking start over. And I like started watching Fight Club, and I was like, this is the most spiritual story I've ever heard in my life. And there's blood everywhere, and it's exactly what the Bible really is, and what I like about the Bible is it's so violent. It's
so it's so sad that it got co-opted in like the kind of college dorm room poster vibe, but like because Fight Club is like inherently a great movie. Like, I always think back to like when I'm like kind of picking my brain for stories for like pilots and stuff. I love the idea of somebody who haunts 12-step meetings.
Yeah,
and like that's like just like it's so well executed, but it's like such a big part of that movie. And then just like the catharsis of like the absolute abandonment of materialism and so you eventually get sober. I mean, we kind of talked a lot about that stuff. You start doing comedy.
Yeah, I started doing comedy like 5 years ago. That was like I had another year where it was like, you know, a year where instead of me annihilating myself, just like shit just came at me in a way that was like fucked. Like I was 6 years sober. I started dating this guy who was like a full-blown alcoholic and then had like a rage problem. I started dating myself back then.
Did you do program hard at any point?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
And then you...
and I still go. Like I still am into it.
Yeah. We don't have to go into that very much. Just like
it's kind of boring. But like,
I mean, programs.
I fucking hate going, but I go because I have to.
I still like it, but I think just because I'm such a drunk that I love having a schedule.
Yeah.
And so to give me something in my day that's got like a solid hour.
Yeah, you know what it is? I hate going because I'm not going enough. I always hate it when I'm not going enough.
Yeah. And I also
that's really what it is.
Get to the meeting and half the time I'm like, great.
Right.
This person, of course they're sharing. Of course they're checking in.
Right.
I shouldn't say any of this stuff, but you know, if you ever do want to get sober, listener, you can DM me, and I am happy to talk to you more about it. So you start doing comedy. I mean, you've had like a pretty good run at it. Like I know that you had just been like a year into it when you moved to LA with your ex, and then you very quickly didn't move to LA?
Yeah, we moved to LA, and I was like ready to actually, I had practiced like that breakup conversation with my therapist because I was like, I'm not going to get better here, so I have to go back to New York. And right as I was about to have that conversation with him, he like turned to me and was like, hey, it's kind of boring here. Do you want to move back?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, phew. Like I never had to have that conversation. We moved back, and I was just doing it the way that you're supposed to do it. Like I was getting on stage as much as possible and like writing and I just loved it. I was just obsessed. Like I loved it.
Because you do anything at 110 kind of thing.
No, not really. I'd never done anything with the same level of like concentration or like obsession that I did with comedy. Even in college when I was like working to get through my sister's death, I still didn't have the same. There was something about this that was like, this is different. This is what I'm here for. Like, you know, when you like meet somebody and you go, this is a person that I'm going to be with for a long fucking time. Some part of you knows it.
Yeah.
When I started comedy, I was like, oh, this is what I came here to do.
Yeah.
Like I was like searching my whole life to figure out like what I was here for. And it all kind of felt like trying on different hats. And when I started comedy, I was like, oh, this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I had a similar thing where I'd always wanted to perform. I'd never had any discipline. I'd done like a million things. I mean, I've done so many things. Like, I boxed for a year. I tried to be a professional skier. I was a championship debater. Like I had all these things and I'd lose interest. But it was like the same thing with stand-up where it was like the second that I did it, I was like,
right.
This.
Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was weird too because all these people talk about like, they were like, and I used to sit and watch Eddie Murphy, yada, yada. It never occurred to me that you could do it until the day I decided to do it.
Yeah.
It was like literally like people talk like I would have loved to have been on SNL. I mean, who wouldn't have? I'm not an idiot. I love it when people are like, it's not a very good show anymore. It's like, go fuck yourself.
Shut up.
Like, you would literally push your mom into a wood chipper if you could get on the writing staff.
Right.
I love when people talk shit about it. It's like it's still probably the most coveted job in show business in comedy.
Agreed.
But I literally didn't know until it was like too late. You know, like if somebody would have said in high school, like, Andy, you can do improv and sketch, and eventually you could probably be on SNL. I would have done it.
Yeah.
But nobody ever said that to me.
Yeah.
And then it was like one day somebody was like, you should do stand-up. And I was like, I should do stand-up. And it was like, I feel like
That's really all it takes is like somebody being like, yeah, you should try this. Because I'd never thought about it. And I was hanging out around stand-ups. I used to hang out with Michael Blaustein and Andrew Schultz and Akash when I was in acting school in New York. And they would be barking for the lantern. And I used to hang out with them and bark with them as like a joke.
That's so funny.
And I had no idea that I had any interest and truly didn't have any interest. Was just like, whatever. I don't even know why you do this. This seems weird. And then years later, I was like, I'm going to quit acting. That year was like, I quit acting. I broke up with this guy who fully like punched me in the face. And then I,
Sounds
God,
cool.
and then I fucking got pregnant and had an abortion.
Jesus.
With a guy who had a girlfriend the whole time that I didn't know about.
Damn.
So it was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? I was just like, what the fuck? And my friend, I was like, I'm going to become a social worker. Like, that's what I was. I was like, I'll be a social worker. I fucking give up. Like, I give the fuck up. And my friend was like, you would be a horrible social worker. He was like, you are not warm. Like, there's nothing about, in a way, I actually would be a fantastic social worker because of that now. Like, I realize. But
the foster kids would all love you.
Yeah. But, like, Charlie's so bored by this. But, like, I think I just started and I just couldn't stop. Yeah. That's basically how it happened.
Did you feel that? Did you have that moment? Because I think everybody has this moment where they've been doing it, and they've been doing it, and they've been doing it, and they're kind of like, am I really going to do this? And then one day you do it and you kill and you feel like you kind of have the audience on like
I had that moment before I ever paid attention to the audience reaction because I got into comedy later in life.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really was like, what am I going to do in my life?
I think that helps a lot because I do think I started at 22 and I think you could just like, I mean, I had some great stuff happen and I had some good jokes and, you know, whatever good shows. But I I almost feel like you could write off like the last everything up until like I moved back to New York in a way, because I really had to go through all this shit to even be ready to just be doing stand up.
Right.
Because I wasn't like, I had no idea who I was. It's funny. When you said that you used to hang out around Blaustein and Schultz and Akash, I have this thing where when people tell me they're going to try comedy or like they want to do comedy and they have like normal good lives, it's like the equivalent of somebody telling me they're like going to try heroin. Yeah. I'm like, oh, what? No. Don't. I'm 37 and I have roommates and like nothing. Like just only failed marriages and like 1 million half-drinking water bottles from Generals where the fucking executive was bored. Yeah. Don't do this. Yeah. You have... If you can find happiness, like at the Target. Oh my God,
the water bottles really got me just now. That really fucking depressed me for some reason.
I wanted to do an art thing. Yeah. I wanted to do it. I really wish that I would have committed to this because it occurred to me very early on. I wanted to save every single water bottle from every General and like mark it and then one day do like an art installation that was like a bookshelf full of every water bottle. Because you could also tell how the meeting went. Because like if the meeting... You know, sometimes the water bottle, when I'm done with it, it's completely empty and the water bottle's crushed to that point where it's like the plastic stretched.
Yeah, you've just like chewed the whole bottle.
Yeah, you just like twisted it into a rope. And then there's other meetings.
Hang yourself.
Yeah, and then there's other meetings where it's like you've taken a sip. Yeah. You know, I'd have so many.
You can so tell how the meeting went by the water bottle, by the condition of the bottle. That's crazy.
I hate Generals. I mean, I would love to still be taking lots of Generals, but it's like I hated driving to fucking Santa Monica from Silver Lake and like getting to some like kid who's like 25 and he's like, yeah, we're super excited and blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, oh, you don't like know who I am. You don't care what I'm doing.
You haven't read anything I've done or watched it.
You like saw a clip.
Yeah.
But you know, that's fine. They'll be fine.
Yeah. We won't, but they will.
You know what? I actually think we're going to be fine. Like,
no, I know. I joke about it, but I really, like, if I really felt that, I wouldn't be doing this.
It's so weird to me because I've had a lot of stuff because it's like I am getting up there. I was like, I'm trying to write this joke about this week I went to a family vacation and it was just so weird to be back around normal people after being a comic in New York pretty much nonstop for a year. And it's just like, my life is like trying to hook up with people and find jewel pods for a cheap price. Yeah. And make enough money to make it to the next month. And then all of a sudden, and that's my entire life. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I'm around like a family and I'm in a cabin with them. Yeah. It's like that you can't like... You know, I usually masturbate at like 1 p.m. Like, I can't, there's children. I can't just be here all of a sudden. I needed to, like, you know, there needs to be like a place where if you're like a piece of shit, like a selfish New York, you know, creative that thinks somehow you're noble, but really, you know, you're really just a piece of shit, that you like go, it's like a pre-vacation. You know what I mean?
You just made me think about how, like how... Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, please. I've constantly been bringing it back to myself. I'm a horrible host. That's the only way I know how to relate to people.
You are so bad at it.
I just take whatever you said and then I go, oh, this happened to me. Let me tell you.
That's how you conversate. Like, it's not...
Is it?
It is. It is.
You're relating
to somebody.
You could tell me...
It's not like you're giving me a story that has nothing to do with...
that I've been doing it wrong my entire life, and I'd believe you. That's how insecure I am. I'd be like,
I'm a piece of shit.
Like this lady in a writer's room one time, I was like doing like a 1 week free job on a pilot that never went. And this like fucking ridiculous woman that I should not have cared at all what this person, I shouldn't have made eye contact with them. That's how she had giant fake lips. Yeah. Horrible plastic surgery. She looked like a Muppet doll that had been stung by a bee. And she asked me if I was autistic in the middle of the writer's room.
Really?
And I legitimately...
Genuinely?
Yeah. And I mean, she's a Scientologist and all this shit. Like, she was a fucking maniac. And I legitimately was, like, shook by it. I was like, oh my God, am I? Is that what's been going on the whole time?
Dude, somebody asked me that last week who I'm friends with, and I fully believed them for a second. I was like, oh, maybe I am autistic. Like, maybe
we're
I
probably
am.
on the spectrum, like just a minor amount.
Yeah, like a little bit, maybe.
We're like hot spectrum.
Right. I mean, can you be autistic and hot?
Ask Nikki Glazer.
Nikki's definitely not.
No, she has a joke
Nikki's
about.
so emotional.
She has a joke about fucking a guy with autism and how she thinks it's hot because they're like the kind of perfect man.
Yeah.
Because they like they're not emotional.
Yeah.
They're angry.
They tell you exactly what they think.
Charlie, you don't understand.
Charlie,
chords.
go to your place. Charlie, come here. Charlie, you've ruined everything. Go to your place. Charlie's autistic, actually. He's full blown autism on this dog.
I feel like I want to ask you about.
Wait. When you were like talking about being around the family, though, it just
you were
made
gonna
me
say
think to myself, like, yeah, the dichotomy between our lives and like what the lives normal people live. Like, I was at a friend's wedding. And I was like, I wonder when I'll get married. And I thought about it, and I was like, oh, I still watch porn on my television. My phone is connected to my TV so that I can watch porn on it.
Yeah.
Like a man.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way. I was like, it's not going to happen. I feel like comedy has turned me into a man in a way that, like,
I mean, you are butch as hell. And I don't mean that like in an offensive way. You are,
but it
like
is offensive.
No, but you're like an attractive woman,
but it feels like I'm not, because every guy that I'm friends with is like, you're a man, and then I'm like in a situation where I'm about to like hook up with somebody, and I'm just like, I can't say anything without hearing my voice and being like, you're a fucking jackhammer. Everyone, like, it's like so embarrassing.
No, I think it's just it's probably also conditional on just like your ability to. I mean, you've just been like sitting around tables with guys for the last 20 years.
Feel like I'm doing an impression of a woman when I'm with the guy. Like I'm like trying to remember what it was like when I still believed that men were good. And now I'm just friends with so many of them that I know that that's not true.
It's so funny because I think I'm like the opposite of you, like where like I want all the things like a woman our age wants.
Yeah.
Like, like I want to go to the Catskills and like make jam with my family.
Yeah.
And
no, I want that too.
No, come on, you're too butch.
I do want that. I want that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I want that, but then I'm like, the way that I'm living my life has got to change.
That's the thing though, that on this last trip where I was like, oh, I think it's over. Like, I think I missed it. You're still what, 30? I'm not going to say your age. You probably
33.
Don't. You're 33. You still got some time. I'm 37. I know that I still have time, but it's close. It's real close to too late.
Yeah,
for
37, the chances of you, well, you've already been married, so the chances actually of you getting married again are like higher than somebody that's never been married your age.
I think I'll have another significant long-term relationship, but
you can tell that I've looked up statistics about men before dating them based off of like their age. I'm like, will he marry me?
It's not good. I want to get married again. Or at least like have a partnership. I'm not interested. Dating is exhausting. And like this last, we'll move on to relationship stuff next, but like this last one, like in the fall, I had like not a great job, but I was making a lot of money. Felt like a real fucking snap in my step or whatever you call that. What is that called? Spring in my step. Snap, whatever. I do that all the time. I fuck up. I got a snap in my step. I got a snap in my step. I'm wearing tap shoes and the snapping.
Your leg is broken.
Yeah, it's just I have Velcro shoes. But but I met this girl and I thought, oh my God, like
this is it.
This is it. And I'm also bad at this, by the way. Like, if you show me red flags, like I sign up for a Chinese passport. And I'm still getting over it. And it was like the fall, and now it's August, so we're almost a year in.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine how many more times I could actually go through this before I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, because you can think somebody's like, nobody's really gonna people will show you who they are right away. Like almost everybody will. But you will do anything. Your fucking mechanisms in your brain will tell you everything about why it's okay and why it'll be different than what logic's telling you.
I have the opposite problem.
You think everything's a red flag.
I'm like, everyone is guilty. Everyone is guilty until proven innocent, and everyone is fucked, and there's nobody that is good and nobody that is healthy, and whoever I meet is going to disappoint me. I've completely already gotten to this point where, and this is part of the problem, is like...
I would love to be there.
Like,
God, it would be nice.
It's not a good place to be, Andy.
You think that, but come to the other side where you're like...
You still believe in love.
Get sad when you look at the New York Times wedding announcements.
But I would love to be that human. I feel like something is fucking wrong with me because
I'm in the wrong career. There's nothing good about it. I should have got married at 28 to my sweetheart, and then I'd be fine. But I'm in the wrong career because nobody wants sincerity in this business.
But
unless you're successful, and then it's amazing that you're sincere. But until then, they're like, shut this fucking guy up.
But I think that's great. Like for me to believe that a dude is like I met a guy kind of recently who was like, what did he say? He was like, we're so connected. And I remember looking at him and being like, what are you talking about? Like,
he was trying to hit on you?
Yeah, he was like, we're so connected. Like the vibe is so strong. And I was just like, and like, yeah, we were like flirting, but I was just like,
I wanted to have sex with you until you said that.
I was just like, what? It felt like, is this what people start to do I have to tell myself that to fuck somebody? And to like enjoy it? Because it feels to me like I'll meet somebody and I'll be like, all right. I just start immediately going, all right, here's all the things that are wrong with this person. And like from the way that they chew to the way that they park.
Yeah.
To, you know what I mean? I'm like, why is it so hard for you to make a left turn? Like I just start immediately like compiling a list of shit that I know in 5 years I would hate about them. And I think that's just from being in a relationship for 5 years with somebody that like I'm just very wary of putting somebody on a pedestal and how damaging that is and how because it's happened to me so many times where like a dude will put you on a pedestal and then you start to become just their disappointment. And it's like you never asked to be on a pedestal. You never told them you were perfect. I've warned men. I've been like, you're going to hate me in 2 years for the thing that you just said you liked. And then they'll be like, no, I'm not. And 2 years later, I'm like, fully we're there.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just want to be with somebody who's logical enough to go, yeah, that's going to be something that I fucking can't stand about you, but I'll love you anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think that's okay to like the most successful relationships I've seen, it's like 30% hate and 70% love.
Yeah.
Like, and when I've been in a good relationship, like one of the best parts is like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you shut the fuck up.
Right.
And then you're like, oh man, I fucking love this person, you know?
Like I had one relationship like that where I would like walk past him and he would be like he'd like look at me and be like, what's up, you fucking lunatic? And I remember just being like, God, I love him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like loved that guy.
Now, okay, we've talked about so much stuff, but none of it is the stuff that I like had planned on really talking about. Let's go really quickly into relationship stuff.
Yeah.
So you just got out of this 5-year relationship, which honestly, like, I know both of you. I don't, now that I know you, I never knew you before. I don't know how you guys worked for so long. It's very bizarre to me.
Yeah.
But
a lot of people have said that to me.
Yeah, I mean, and it's only because I probably just knowing your ex for so long.
Yeah.
And then getting to know you now, I'm like, how the fuck?
Well, nobody really knows my ex. Like, my ex is very, he's stoic.
He's a phantom.
He's like he's a phantom. He's actually not real.
He's a hologram.
He's like, he's very mysterious. He's very like, he keeps his feelings to himself. He is.
Is that something you traditionally liked?
No, but I feel like after the relationship that I was in before him, which was like, this guy was a loose fucking cannon, I felt like very safe with him.
Yeah.
And he's very, very caring. Like,
yeah.
I will say that about him. He's very like sweet to me.
I feel weird talking about him so much because I feel like he could hear this and then be like, what the fuck? So
No. But I would only say like good things about him. He's like truly one of the best, healthiest relationships I've ever been in my life.
How did you deal, like what was the impetus to the breakup? Was it just like you guys had just like done the rounds and you realized that was that? Was there like a moment?
It was like, it like fizzled out, like, and then it was like stops and starts where we were like, what do we do here? Because it's not working. So do we break up? Do we separate? We were just like kind of discussing like what our options were because we did love each other. Like we loved each other when we broke up.
Yeah.
And I still love him in a way, like I really do. But we got to this point where I was like, there's things that you don't like about me that I can't change. Mm-hmm. Like genuine things that I'd have to be a different person for you to be happy.
Do you
and
feel
then
like
same with him? And I was like, and so why don't we just end this now before we fucking hate each other? Because I never want to be in a position where I hate you.
When you guys finally decided to break up, it sounds like you guys did it in like a mutual kind of caring way.
Yeah.
Had you kind of done the work, like, because you'd been together so long, I feel like it's almost easier to break up from a long-term relationship because you kind of spend the last year of your relationship breaking up.
Yeah.
Was it kind of that where you kind of were like processing it mutually until it like verbalized and then you were like, oh, fuck. Were you a mess at any point?
I think I was a mess after we broke up.
Yeah.
Like after the fact.
Because it just hit.
Because it just hit me after the fact. Because like we had been through a lot. Like my career was changing. Things were happening fast and nothing had been happening for so long.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing is people will say to me like, oh yeah, you've had this like really fast rise. And I'm like, yeah, but like for years, nobody even knew who I was or like what I was doing. And then all of a sudden everything happened.
Yeah.
But like, so that was a weird thing to like process because I all of a sudden sort of, I think unconsciously started just assuming that he would take on responsibilities that I had taken on in the relationship that he didn't really want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Like adopting another dog and then the cat got sick and we had to put the cat down and I went to Montreal and then like 2-3 months later, we woke up and the dog was having a seizure and my dog who I like loved more than anything, my dog who I got to like protect me from this dude who was like a fucking maniac.
Punch you in the face guy?
Yeah. She was having a seizure. We woke up and had to take her to the hospital. She was seizing the entire time. I had to make the decision that day to put her down.
God.
And then like and right before she died, I was thinking about moving into a different apartment so that we could just live separately.
Yeah.
So, and the night before she died, we decided, you know what, let's give this another shot. Like we really love each other. Let's give it another shot. And then she died. And I was like, all right, I have one responsibility, which is like Charlie. Mm-hmm. And then, so if we were going to break up, the way has been cleared for us to do that without it being a massive fucking pain in both of our asses, you know? And I was like, I felt in a weird way like it was just this sign, like everything's going. Just go, like let go.
It's a fire sale.
Yeah.
I guess that's like, we could like move on to the next thing, which is like kind of what I don't really care about how you do relationships now, or that you're not doing them. But
I mean, I'm trying to. I don't know.
But what I guess is like, how do you? Because you seem, pretty together. Like, I mean, I know
I am.
and it's like, how do you like? What's your protocol? Like, what's your things? Obviously, you got that jewel stick pretty handy. Do you meditate?
Yeah, I hit it pretty hard.
Exercise, jerk off the dog.
I exercise. I fuck my dog. I exercise 4 days a week. I guess I sort of meditate sometimes, but I don't really. I think I've just lived my life in a way where like I've been sober 11 years, which means that I've been through so many identity crises that like that's what being sober is. It's just like hitting your fucking head into a wall until you finally accept that there's a wall there.
Yeah.
And then you're like, fuck, there's a wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, I guess I have to go around the wall. And so like I've learned that lesson enough times to like live my life with this level of acceptance that is just there now.
Yeah.
And I think that is it. Like I feel like I've just gotten to that. I mean, there's still things that I need to like right now what I'm working through is like not feeling guilty about being good. Like for a second after my breakup, I tried to like manipulate in my mind. Like I was like, oh, he was a bad boyfriend. But I realized I was just telling myself that because I felt guilty about ending it. Even though we ended it mutually and I felt guilty about being okay. It was like a weird, cause like.
See, I am from the opposite where I was in a horrible relationship and I felt like it was my fault.
Right.
Man, see, I would trade your brain in a second.
But I was there too. I was in your position too with the last relationship. You know what I mean? I've been on both sides of it. So it's like, yeah, I think I just got to where I am just by fucking up over and over again. And the one thing I did right was get sober young. And like, I'm so grateful I did that.
It really does set you up to like deal with so much other stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's like this tool set.
Right.
That you just like, that I honestly like, I feel like sometimes this is very like programmy talk, but like
you have a cheat code?
I have a cheat code and it's so simple.
Yeah.
It's just like literally like I can call a person and I can trust that they're going to give me honest advice and also be secretive. Like, right. There's like they'll respect my boundaries and all this stuff. And I can go like, hey man, I'm thinking about this thing. And they'll be like, that sounds psycho. And then I'll be like, you know what? You're right. That is a psycho thing to say. And then, so on and so forth. What, I guess, what do you think's wrong with me?
What do I think is wrong with you? Can I be honest?
Yes. Of course. That's the whole thing.
This is 100% based on intuition.
Okay. I would love it if you were like, you're a
gay.
faggot.
No, I think that based off of it's not based 100% off intuition.
A lot of people think I'm gay, by the way.
No, I think
it's because I was raised by women.
I think that you have like a benevolent sexism.
Really?
Like it's benevolent sexism. It's like putting a woman on a pedestal, that kind of a thing. And I hope that I'm not projecting based off of my own experience, which I've already discussed.
Wait, hold on. But do you mean, I guess I kind of, because I agree with you to some extent, but I guess practically, what do you mean?
So, I mean, I'm just answering this question in terms of relationships.
Okay, cool.
Because I don't see anything. I'm like,
that's
I don't
fine.
pick up on anything else.
This is, as Brandon Wardell phrased it, this is the worst kind of gotcha journalism where I literally surprise the guests with.
What do you think is wrong with me?
What's wrong with me? But no, I agree. So you're talking relationship wise.
Yeah, I think.
Well, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Then. I thought you meant like professionally, and I was like, do I? Because I don't think women are funny.
Oh my God.
What if that's just...
That would have been the perfect reaction if you just come back with
Wait
that.
a second. Women aren't funny. No, I mean, yeah. I mean, like, I think...
But I also feel like that at the end of the day, there's really... If you're asking the question of, like, what's wrong with me, the answer is nothing because you're the only one asking that question. Like, there's so few people that are even interested in... hey, how do I improve myself? That just by asking the question, you're leagues above the average person.
Yeah, I think, you know what, like, I honestly, this sounds very, because I'm like a narcissist.
I don't want to say above, but in front of, like, beyond, you know. Like,
no, I know what you mean. It's
Yeah.
just, it's like that cheat codes thing. Like,
Yeah.
I honestly feel like if I didn't have such bad imposter syndrome / like insecurities, that I would be light years ahead of where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Not in a major significant way, but just like so much of my shit is like, am I being fucking weird right now? And everybody's like, no. And I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah. I was chilling.
I wasn't even thinking
I
that.
wasn't thinking about that. I was just like chilling out and like, I'm going to probably go hiking. I hike.
I was like texting some dude. I love just like leaning into that. Where like I texted some dude. I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna see you soon," and he was like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm actually not gonna be able to make it." And I was like, "Okay, cool," because I wasn't excited about it. Just so you know, I just want you to know that I wasn't excited.
Not at
if
all.
you thought that this text was about excitement, it wasn't. I was just double checking the dates because I forgot.
I was actually saying, "Hey, I'm gonna see you soon." That sucks. I'm not excited.
I didn't finish the text, loser. No, but like, I think there's something really endearing about that I'm starting to like notice. I'm like, because I'm trying to soften myself. I'm trying to like soften my heart a little bit because I've just. It's like, yeah, I seem together because my heart is a block of ice. Like when I talk to people.
A statue.
Yeah.
It's
I don't want to be that.
No, yeah, I think you're doomed. No, I think that's.
What do you think is wrong with me?
Honestly, I don't know you well enough. What? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know because you seem to be very much yourself, and you seem secure in yourself, and I think that's something.
That's not fair. I gave you an honest answer.
I don't know. Your relationship, like I just don't know you well enough. Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know you well enough, and I pretty much went right for the jugular.
But that's the difference between us is that I'm like this open book Nancy, you know, and you're like fucking, you're fucking Clint Eastwood over here. Just like
Clint Eastwood and Tinkerbell.
Yeah, you're just like sitting around waiting for like the perfect moment to just like hit a fucking. You're like a samurai. Like you just sit at the table. You're quiet. You're quiet. You're quiet. And you're like, you seem like the type of guy that had to put lotion on your mother's feet. And I'm like, how the fuck did she know that?
Fuck. That is.
You're a brick shithouse.
I'm gonna die alone.
You're gonna be fine. All right. Well, I want to. There's so much more I want to talk to you about. You're so easy to talk to, and you have so much good insight.
Yeah, this is fun.
Do you want to plug anything?
I'm gonna be in DC. When is this coming out?
Tomorrow.
Okay, I'm gonna be in DC on the 23rd and 24th. 25th.
You're going to be at the Improv.
Yeah, I'm going to be at the Improv. Hold on a second. I have to check the
23rd
dates.
and 24th.
I
That's
could be
Friday
wrong.
and Saturday.
I could be wrong about that. Hold on.
I think I saw it in your Instagram post. That
but
would be the most logical. Are you in the lounge?
Yeah. It's 23rd and 24th. I'm at the lounge, and then
that's a great room. You're going to have such a fun
I'm excited. So I'll be there with Brendan Sagalow, and yeah, that's it. Pretty much.
And then you have social media and podcasts are all announced on that. All your other projects.
Rosebud Baker on Twitter and Instagram, and yeah.
Awesome. I don't think I have anything. I'm going to be at the Philly Punchline August 31st and September 1st. I have some other dates.
Love that club.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'll be there with Gavin Matz, comedy's little brother. And
That's such a great description of him.
yeah, that's exactly who he is. Oh, I'll also be at Laughs Comedy Club in Seattle the weekend before Christmas. Other dates in the fall I'm locking them down now. If you, for some reason, listen to this and you're in England, I will be in London the 22nd and 23rd. I know I'm performing at the Angel Comedy Club. I don't know the other venue that I'm performing at right now. And then if you're in Paris on the 28th, I will be performing at whatever that English-speaking show is. I don't know the details.
So cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going to go be like fully European for a week. I'm going to go to the south of France and sit on a beach.
Tell me what it's like, because I feel like I've been there and I wouldn't remember it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna try to smoke real cigarettes, even though I find them disgusting now. I can't like sit on the beach in France and hit a Juul. I gotta fucking feel that sweet burn and like drink butter and all that. All right, thank you guys for listening to Be Best. Let's end on this. This is a quote by Harold Broadkey. I have thousands of opinions still, but that is down from millions. And as always, I know nothing.